where there is a lot of concern about border backups and the impact this could start to have on the economy and specifically tourism here in Western New York. Right now, there's about a 40-minute delay getting into the U.S. there at the Rainbow Bridge. Late this afternoon, though, late this morning and into the afternoon, it took well over an hour to get through. And we've reported extensively on staffing problems caused in part by the federal government moving dozens of Customs and Border Patrol agents from here down to the southern border. And here's why that matters. It's estimated that cross-border travel supports 17,000 local jobs with a $1.1 billion economic impact here in our region each year. So joining us live right now is John Percy, President and CEO of Destination Niagara. John, it's great to have you on here. You know, we keep covering these border backups and trying to figure out the different ways that it's impacting our region. And it seems like it's sort of inevitable that this is going to make some people choose not to cross the border. So we wonder if you're starting to see a negative impact in terms of tourism there.
We haven't as of yet, Michael, and thank you for having me on. You know, I think it's unfortunate because once that perception starts to build, as you just mentioned, I think that is a major concern. Over the years, the Canadian government has been very astute and very smart in building a lot of the same products. And when I say products, retail products that mirror American brands. And so one of the biggest reasons, you know, our Canadian wonderful friends to the north, really neighbors to the north more so, you know, cross our short bridges is to come over and shop. And that's one of their main reasons to cross these borders. And we have seen a negative decline, especially with COVID coming into the picture. So we need to lessen that perception and the negative perceptions. And the only way we can do that is open more lanes, build the staffing problems that we have at the borders right now, because we don't want those negative perceptions. We love the friendly crossings that we still possess here in Western New York, and we want those to continue.
John, I shared a couple of numbers there in terms of the economic impact of cross-border travel. Again, more than $1 billion to the Western New York economy, many thousands of jobs. Talk me through the border's impact, though, specifically on your specialty, which is tourism, and right there in the Falls. I know there is a sizable population of people who want to come in and see Niagara Falls, and they want to do it from both sides of the border.
They really do. And, you know, it's been surprising to me over the years because I thought, you know, a lot of times, you know, they have the falls on the Canadian side. So Canadians that live and work in the southern Ontario region, you know, would not cross over here. But we see them in our state park. We see them in our restaurants. We even see them staying in our hotels. And so they do cross over to take in both sides. And we promote that. We want people to take in both sides. And your numbers are correct. When you're looking, you know, in Niagara County alone, that 17,000 number in the region is people that are directly impacted that work in our hospitality industry, especially the food and beverage industry. You know, they come and, you know, stay, play, shop, and take in our sporting events. And that affects not only Niagara County, but this entire region, especially in Buffalo, where they take in the cultural attractions, but more so our sporting attractions, our sporting events, shopping across the entire region, and dining. And those are all their top activities. And when they can't get across and there's hour-long delays or plus, you know, I've seen over the last few weeks, 65, 70, 80, 90 minutes plus delays, that starts to have a ripple effect across the entire Southern Ontario region, and people will start to back off because they don't want to deal with those issues at the border.
Finally, John, I mentioned the numbers there at the Rainbow Bridge in the Falls. The Peace Bridge right now, an hour and 12-minute delay to get into the United States. Only 6 of the 12 lanes are open right now. And to pick up what you said there about shopping and the importance of our friends in Southern Ontario who come over here to the fashion outlets there in Niagara County, the Galleria in Cheektowaga, and many other places, it seems like those short trips could really be in jeopardy because those are people who sometimes watch the news here in Buffalo or they have friends who have crossed the border. And to your point, if it becomes this perception that the border is a mess, I mean, it's late afternoon on a Monday. You wonder why the border is so bad right now.
Well, and we are in the height of season. So, you know, you got to take that into effect that Americans coming cross into Canada, you know, in the height of the tourism season. So you are getting that as well. So you're getting a double punch, you know, from that height of tourism season, but also locals that live and work and play and cross over quickly, but people that reside in the Southern Ontario region. So you're getting a double punch right now, being at the height of the season. It'll be interesting to see if that lessens a little bit once we get out of that really heightened season from from Memorial Day to Labor Day. But still, it's an ongoing problem and a growing problem, and we need our officials, Congressman Higgins and many others at the federal level, to look at this and make sure that we bring staffing back up to more normal levels, and even probably increased levels, because we're post-pandemic. And people want to get out. They've been, especially Canadians, didn't have an opportunity to cross. Those borders were closed for quite some time. And there is that pent-up demand of wanting to cross, again, to shop, dine, take in our sporting events and everything.
Yeah, got to get more of those lanes open. A bipartisan group of lawmakers kind of making those demands right now. We'll stay on top of it. John Percy is president and CEO of Destination Niagara. Thanks for sharing some time with us.
Thanks, Michael. Appreciate it.